Wow, today was not a good day for anybody, but it was an even worse day for investors of Virgin Galactic. Virgin Galactic announced that it was delaying its test flight until May. The market obviously didn't like that, and it's down upwards of 15% just in after hours. And that's following a week where equities have been down, upwards of 10 to 20% as it is. Virgin Galactic's now trading around $35. That's almost half of what it was when it was $60 a few weeks ago. My name is Caden, and I'm going to be telling you what Virgin Galactic announced in their earnings call, why they delayed this test flight, and what I'm going to be doing about it. So, let's see what we can figure out. So with that, I'd like to start by listening to the newly appointed CEO of Virgin Galactic, and let's let him explain why they delayed this. We're just going to listen through this little segment of the earnings call. So let's listen in here.
I'd like to ask Mike Moses to share details about the December flight and the status of our upcoming flight.
Thanks, Michael. Moving on to slide 8. During the December test flight, the rocket motor halted as it was starting the ignition sequence because the onboard rocket motor computer lost connection. This system, like others on the spaceship, is designed such that it defaults to a safe state whenever power or communications is lost. We planned for and rehearsed many potential scenarios, including one such as this, and the pilots in the spaceship, as well as the engineers in mission control, were well prepared for this event. Following the flight, we completed an extensive analysis to investigate why the rocket motor computer lost connection, and we are confident that we've identified and isolated the issue to be a reboot of the computer, likely caused by electromagnetic interference, or EMI. Unity has been upgraded with a new flight control computer system, which offers a finer degree of pilot control. This system has performed well in our glide flight tests and is one of the components we are testing in our rocket-powered flights. Our team has determined that part of this new system is the source of higher EMI levels that were present on that last flight. EMI is a relatively common challenge in aerospace, and in January we proceeded with modifications that were designed to lower the EMI levels and better protect certain systems. After confirming through testing that these corrective actions would prevent a reboot of the rocket motor computer, we determined that we were ready to target a February launch. As we completed our pre-flight technical readiness checks for that February flight, some of our shipboard sensor readings showed fluctuations, and it became apparent that those changes that we had made to address EMI had unintentionally created additional noise within our sensor environment. While this noise, not in itself, is a safety issue, it did let us know that the EMI levels on the ship were impacting areas that, while low in probability, could potentially trigger another fail-safe scenario, possibly one that could prevent us from seeing a full rocket motor burn. Our safety culture is built around the principle that everyone in the company has the ability to call attention to an issue, and that's exactly the right approach when you're dealing with human spaceflight. In this case, we flagged an EMI issue that needs resolution, and we chose to delay the February launch to mitigate it further before flying. To reduce the EMI levels, we will be enhancing the new flight control computer with additional features. Once we complete these modifications, we'll thoroughly test the system on the ground, both in the lab and on Unity, following which we will recommence our flight test program. Michael, back to you.
Thanks, Mike. Just to reinforce Mike's comments, one of the imperatives for me when I decided to join Virgin Galactic was confirming the company had an unwavering commitment to its safety culture, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. We know our spaceflight system works. We know we can go to space, and we are all very eager to get back to space. But when we see something that isn't quite right, we tackle it hard and we fix it, and then we move forward. And that's what we're doing. Once this EMI issue is addressed to our satisfaction, we intend to return to the test flight program sequence that we previously communicated. Our estimate to complete this work is 8 to 9 weeks, which suggests our next test flight will be in May. While we're not going to place specific dates around our second and third test flights, we expect them both to occur this summer.
All right, so they say that they identified what caused the test flight failure on December 12th. and they figured out that it was electromagnetic interference. And then they put a new computer system in there, a new flight control system. And then it seems like they didn't discover that that fix actually screwed things up until just before the pre-flight preparations for February 13th. So to me, that's honestly a sign of incompetence. It's a little disappointing. Obviously, I don't know anything about electromagnetic interference or aerospace. I mean, if I did, I wouldn't be sitting in this room talking to a computer. But the fact that they had, this is essentially 2 months in between this flight and this flight, you think that they would have figured out that their fix was actually not a fix in January before they announced this test flight. You think they would have made sure that the EMI was corrected. So it's a little disappointing. Well, it's more than a little disappointing. It's a lot disappointing. Let's be real. So that's about all we need to hear from those guys. And, they are right. If there was a fatal error, that would be the complete end of the company. So safety is obviously the number one priority. And, if it was just this one delay, it really wouldn't be that big of a deal. It's just the compounded, what is it now, going on 15, 20 years this company's been around. It's just delay after delay after delay. So obviously it's most important that they get the safety right. They've already had one fatal error where pilots were killed, so they can't do that again. If that happened again, that would be game over. They say this isn't going to happen until May 2021. That means we got about a month here. March is going to be a terrible month for Virgin Galactic. I don't think we'll really hear anything from them until May. We all know they're not great at keeping us updated. So it's going to be a tough month for any holders that were, looking for that short-term upwards movement. Long-term investors, maybe nothing's changed for some people. If you've been a long-term investor for this company, then you're used to these sort of delays. But still, you might be at the end of your patience now. Alright, I just want to run through their Twitter timeline now, just so you guys can see what's kind of happened the last couple weeks. Okay, when did they announce their test flight window? Let's go see. Alright, so all the way back February 1st, preparation is underway for a rocket-powered test flight, and the flight window will open on February 13th with opportunities to fly throughout the month, pending weather conditions and technical readiness. I'm just wondering why they didn't catch it before this February 1st date. Again, like I said, I don't know anything about aerospace engineering, but it seems like they should have caught that. And then what's the next thing they told us? Okay, so here the team has completed pre-flight checks. So they're, still working on it, checking everything. Still hadn't seen it apparently. Installed the rocket. They mated it to the mothership. This is when they must have found out. February 11th. As soon as they had it mated up to the mothership, I guess. They even had NASA's experiments loaded into the cabin. Sorry, NASA. And then this is the kicker. The original kicker. Flight test update. We have been progressing through our pre-flight preparations, and during that process, we have decided to allow more time for technical checks. We are working to identify the next flight opportunity. Okay, so you know what? That seems a little disingenuous. But who knows if they knew the severity of their problem at that point? They should have been a bit more clear there on February 12th. I think a lot of people thought that they were going to still fly in February. I think they should have been a bit more upfront on that day. Let's continue on, and then we get to today. Rollout of second spaceship scheduled to take place on March 30th. Next rocket-powered spaceflight targeted to occur in May. Announced expected timing of revenue-generating flight with the Italian Air Force. So this is what we call a sandwich. Good news, bad news, good news. I like that. They just squish it in there. Normally that would be its own tweet, but they just throw it in with a little bit of good news, hoping we don't get too mad. Oh, and then look at this one, the future of the fleet. Roll out March 30th. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, so I just wanted you guys to see that Twitter and see what they've been saying. So this is what they're looking like right now. Not good. Let's have a look at that 6-month chart. Well, even the year to date. Look at that run up just in January. So really this wasn't completely surprising. We would have been due for a big pullback either way. The stock was up 100%, but I do expect that it's going to continue dropping all throughout March, probably back down to those mid-20s level. And for that reason, I've sold all my shares in the after hours. It was actually crazy. If you look at the after hours, right when they announced results, it went down 9%, and then it actually went back up even, and that's where I was able to sell, and then it dropped 15% again in after hours. I bought in pretty early, still made a profit. I'd been selling all the way along the top here in the 50s. I jumped out of it, and I'm going to be hoping to re-enter in those mid-25s. Does that mean I will? No. Does it mean it will get that low? No. It could be up 10% tomorrow. Who knows, right? It's the stock market. I don't want to just hold them for the month and see them bleed away all month, especially with how nasty the market's been. I'm not going to judge anybody who has diamond hands and holds this. I'm sure it's going to be a good company. 10 years from now, you won't even be able to see this drop in the stock price, right? But for me, I just don't want that dead money for that month. So I pulled it out, and I'm going to be looking to re-enter again. Under 30 for sure. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. It was my first one. I'm going to be getting some better equipment. I've got a new microphone on the way. So if you guys liked the video, please, stay around my channel. Let me know what you guys are doing down below. Please don't beat me up too bad for having paper hands on this one. Peace, guys.